and welcome to another episode of Wedflics. I'm Julia Braime. I'm the founder and editor of Brides Up North, the top UK wedding blog for northern couples, and the editor of your go-to bridal glossy Unveiled magazine. I'm your host here at Wedflics, and on the show today we're speaking with Hannah of Brooke Photography. She's an Unveiled Network member and a bloomin' good Yorkshire photographer. Let's find out more. Okay, Hannah, so welcome to Wedflics. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. So everybody, this is Hannah Brooke. She's an Unveiled Network member and she's a fab photographer based in Yorkshire. She's here to talk to us today all about her style of imagery, how she works with you on a wedding day and how she can put you at ease before your shots on the day. Hannah, introduce yourself, please, and your business to everyone who's listening or viewing.
Thank you. Yes, I'm Hannah of Hannah Brooke Photography. I am based in Wetherby, West Yorkshire. I have been a wedding photographer for coming up to 3 years now. I think my superpower is putting the camera shy at ease. I want to create beautiful, relaxed imagery without the cheesy poses, just to make beautiful memories for my couple to look back on forever.
Yeah, I love that. I also think it's funny that you're literally just down the road from me right now, and we're doing this via Zoom, obviously, because of lockdown. We're filming this. Hopefully when this comes out, we'll be easing out of lockdown, but we're filming this in lockdown towards the end of, we're easing now. Kids are back at school, so we're able to chat to each other in the middle of the day. But we should be doing this over a coffee, so it annoys me a little bit that you're just down the road from me.
We'll do that when we can, Julia.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll probably get no work done. That's the thing, will we? We'll just be like, we'll just have a coffee, and then. But yeah, it's nice to be able to chat to you this way. At least we can still do this. I love that you said your superpower is getting couples to relax in front of the camera. I think that's a really. Well, first of all, I like the word superpower because we've just had International Women's Day, so I'm like, fired up with that. But secondly, it's all about getting those couples to feel at ease, isn't it?
Completely, yeah. It's the only way to really convey the natural emotion of the day. If they're conscious all the time and worried about me and the camera, then they just won't relax.
Yeah. So how do you build that rapport with the couples?
Well, I talk to them lots. So from the booking stage, again, like we've just spoken about, I would ideally meet all of my couples in person, but I've been doing my consultations via Zoom because that's the way it's had to be through the pandemic. I always include with my full day packages, I include a pre-wedding shoot. Sometimes that's done a few weeks before the wedding, 6 weeks, say, as part of the pre-wedding meeting. And sometimes it's a completely separate event. They might want to do it earlier on to get the pictures for the save the date cards, for example. But it's just a really good opportunity for us to, practice, for them to just understand what it's like to be on the other side of the camera. I'll give them some gentle guidance and they can see that it's not so bad. And then, of course, they've got another lovely set of images which delight them, and, they've got something else to show for their happy event.
Yeah, definitely. And it's definitely not so bad. It's actually really quite fun, right?
Yeah, completely. And I have had some really, really camera shy people through my doors, so to speak. Yeah. It's usually the grooms, I must admit, who, it's generally speaking the brides that book me. And then it's the grooms that are a bit, I don't love having my picture taken. But they soon forget about me. On the day, I'll be really non-intrusive and I'll kind of skulk in the corner in a non-creepy way. So I'm catching lots of in the moment things, they don't even realise I'm taking until they see it afterwards.
I think the pre-wedding shoot is I think it's a clever concept. I mean, it's something that lots of photographers do, but I think it's such a good tool in your arsenal. And it's a great tool for the couple as well, because they get to know you, so on the day you then feel like a friend, right?
Yeah.
But it's more cringy than the wedding day.
Yeah, in a way, because on the wedding day they've got a little bit of Dutch courage, they've got all of the friends and families and loved ones, where on the pre-wedding shoot they're probably in a local park or somewhere outside And they're worried about people thinking, but what I've discovered is that no one cares.
No,
no one's bothered at all by someone else having the photos taken. They might glance over, but they're not going to stand and make an audience of it. It's fairly natural and commonplace for people to go having pictures taken.
Yeah, it is definitely nowadays. I think it's more of a thing now. So, you know, I remember always when we used to go to kind of foreign cities on holidays or on school trips or whatever, and you would see brides and grooms like in the park in Paris or whatever, and you'd kind of look at them like they were a sideshow. And nowadays it's not like that. I think it's much more usual to see couples out and about, or family shoots or whatever. People are used to having nice pictures taken for their walls or for, you know, albums or whatever at home. So yeah, they just don't really give it a second look, other than to think, oh, that looks lovely, we should probably put one of those in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really not that big a deal for anybody else.
No, definitely not. And you get a lovely set of images. And when I say it's kind of more cringe, it is cringe because you think, oh God, we've got to go and have our photos taken today. Like, oh, how embarrassing. I wish we were just going to have a chat with Hannah. But actually, when you get there and you have the photos taken, it is fun. And it's almost like, I think, a little bit of an adrenaline boost. Yeah, and you come away and you feel, it's almost like going for a run. You come away feeling really excited, and you think, oh, I'd like to just do that again now. That's how I always feel after working with a professional photographer, because it's a different sort of environment to like just having snapshots taken on holiday or whatever. It's totally different. It's a new experience. So you really like it.
Right. Yeah. And people say to me, oh, that was a lovely experience, actually. We really enjoyed that. It made us feel great. So we had one before our big day. So yeah, it's something that I've always included, because for me it's really valuable for me to have that chance to get to know my couples.
Yeah, and then plus, like on the wedding day when you turn up and you're there at the bridal prep or at the groom prep, you know, you just kind of fit into the furniture then, don't you? You're one of the family. And, hello, you know, remember me. And then also they love the images, hopefully, from the pre-wedding shoot, and it's all good.
Yeah, and we've chatted constantly throughout that pre-wedding shoot. So they have effectively come and had a chat with Hannah, because, you know, that's what they've been doing the whole time, but I've been snapping away in between.
Yeah, I love that. So what's your background, Hannah? You said you've been doing it professionally for 3 years. How did you come to photography?
Okay, so I was probably quite late in life to it. I worked in HR for 15 years, and a classic case of I'd returned to work in the corporate world after having my second child, and I just wasn't happy. Something just didn't feel right at all. I couldn't build the motivation or enthusiasm about that job. I wasn't put back into the job that I'd left after, before I went off to have kids. It was just sort of like, okay, you want to work 3 days, right? Well, that's what you're doing. And I didn't have any chance to be creative or sort of, really have any sort of autonomy. And I said to my husband, I'm going to give this 6 months. He said, right, okay. And so I thought, right, I need to get cracking and think about what else I can do with my life. And I sort of knew at that point I wanted to work for myself. I wanted something that was going to be a lot more flexible. Not just so that I could be at home with the kids, because actually I'm very ambitious. I've always wanted to work. It's not, not for lack of wanting to work hard. It just wasn't right. And I think having kids just makes you reevaluate everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You want your time to be spent on, if you're away from your children, and everyone does need a break from their children at times. I think we all know that very acutely at the moment. You want it to be, spent well. Yeah. So I'd gone away and I'd written a list, like a little mind map of things that I enjoyed doing and things that I thought I could be potentially good at. And I actually thought I was going to do something more about writing. Because I've always enjoyed that too. I love writing blogs. I was always a bit of a storyteller as a kid. And actually on my mind map, I hadn't realised at the time, but I'd written taking photos twice. And then a separate event, probably the week after or something, I posted a picture of the kids, just a picture of the 2 kids in the bath, to Facebook. And loads of people said,
oh, wow, this is amazing. I wish you'd come and take pictures of my kids. And I thought, oh, yeah. Yeah, we'd had family photos taken before. So I decided that was kind of like my light bulb moment. So I bought a camera because I didn't actually have one at that point and learned how to use it.
Wow.
And I started taking family photographs. You know, it felt right at the time because I had young kids. I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And then about 6 months after I officially set up business and took my first paid booking, a girl I knew messaged me and said, will you photograph my wedding? It's a Middleton Lodge in April.
Nice.
Yeah. So I said, well, I've never done that before. And she said, I don't care. I've seen your photos. I trust you. Give me a price.
Oh my goodness.
So I did. I gave her what I thought was a really fair price, to, you know, considering my lack of experience. I took my second tutor, also known as my husband, with me for a bit of a moral support. And then I just, again, this was my second light bulb moment, that as we were standing in the ceremony, I was over the shoulder of the registrar, clicking away, just catching all these gorgeous expressions and moments. And I just had this feeling that this was what I was supposed to be doing in my life. And, you know, that was going to be it.
And then you've never really looked back, and just what a great setting to start with.
I know, super lucky, really.
Middleton Lodge, for anyone who doesn't know it, is a beautiful North Yorkshire venue, and it's really photogenic. Actually, we've shot a lot there for the magazine for Unveiled, and I love it up there. It's just got it's got a bit of a piece about it, hasn't it?
It's stunning. I'd gone up to visit the venue before the wedding just so I could get to know it and just have a good look at it, do my research. And the actual wedding date was the 1st of April 2018. So no April Fool.
I like that. But I mean, what a great venue to start with, and then to build your portfolio from there. I suppose did you just kind of say, this is what I do now, let's go for it, and get your name out there?
As soon as I'd done that wedding, I just used those images to advertise that I was now taking bookings for weddings. And actually, I already had my second one booked in before I'd done that one. I second shot a couple of weddings that year with another photographer, just to get a bit more experience. And then I started attending style shoot workshops in 2019. Just to add a bit more creativity in a safe space, you know, because there's always the fear if it's somebody's wedding day. You don't want to be necessarily trying new things or taking creative risks. But the style shoots are a really great chance to do that.
Absolutely.
2019 was busier, and then 2020 I had a fantastic wedding season booked. And I quit my day job in the January of 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
Good timing, yeah?
Well, at the time, I mean, this time a year ago, in fact, it was a year ago today, I thought my world was ending, because it was 5 days before the actual lockdown was announced. And every single booking that I had in the diary had asked to postpone, contacted me and said, what do we do? You know, we don't think we're going to be able to go ahead. And all of this guaranteed income that I'd just resigned from my day job based on just frittered away.
So difficult.
Yeah. And even because I've always kept on some family photography work as well, and that all cancelled too. So it was like, oh no, what can I do now? But a year on, I kind of look back and I think, well, if I hadn't, it's been, you know, there's no doubt about it, it's been a difficult year. It's been really stressful at times, more because of having young children at home than the work. I've never doubted my work or my reasons. But if I hadn't have resigned when I did, I'm not sure I would have dared now.
Yes, exactly.
And I certainly wouldn't have done as much photography in the last 12 months as I have.
And you're still building that, you know, time moves on. That's the thing. And that's, I think, what wedding couples now realise, that, you know, their wedding day is on the horizon. It's just been delayed. I know we've been trotting that out for a year now, but it is true. And time has moved on. We are a year down the line now, and you've got so much more in your portfolio and so much more experience. Because the thing about what you do is that, okay, you couldn't shoot many weddings, but you could go to style shoot workshops when they were available to go to. I know you went to some, and just kind of like using the camera day to day, really, to kind of keep going with the skill set. I know you've done your doorstep portraits as well.
I have, yes. I did 370 of those.
I know. I so should have had you round to my house to do one of those. So
I still can.
Yeah,
we can still do that before this lockdown completely eases.
Yeah, well, let's do it. But I mean, it's not like you didn't just put your camera down and let it gather dust, essentially. So you have
no.
So really, those couples who booked you for 2020 and have now moved their weddings to whenever they can have them, they're getting a much better deal, really.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I came out of 2020 a much better photographer than the one that started it, because I never put the camera down. I did all of those doorsteps. And then because I was missing the weddings, I created my own mini wedding season. I attended a few workshops and I created a few of my own style shoots.
Yeah, I love that. And we're featuring some on the blog for you, which is lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
It's great to be sharing your work. Fantastic. If a couple finds you, what happens next?
Well, they would get in touch with me. So they'd either fill in the contact form, or they pop me a message on Instagram or wherever it is that found me. Obviously, I'll check that I'm available for their date, and then usually, at the moment, I'll arrange a Zoom chat. I'm looking forward to the days when we can just meet in person again. Once we've had that Zoom chat, they'll make a decision as to whether they think I'm a good fit. If we think we get on well with each other, and then they will fill in the booking forms and pay a deposit.
Yeah, and then obviously they have their pre-wedding shoot with you.
Yeah. So I've been, during the other positive about 2020 is it's really given me time to take stock. So I send them a little welcome gift, a little welcome pack as to what to expect from me. So they know exactly what sort of timescale I work to, what to expect from me before the day, on the day, after the day. As soon as the deposit's paid, they can plan in their pre-wedding shoot. Like I say, some of them prefer to do it really early just to celebrate their engagement, and the majority prefer to do it about 6 weeks before the big day, to build excitement.
I'd be wanting it early to celebrate my engagement. It's so funny how people are different, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd be like, let's do it now. Let's celebrate this ring.
Yes, absolutely.
Be a bride and be a groom. It's interesting. Those of us who really love weddings are like, let's do the wedding stuff.
That's right.
It's so funny when brides and grooms get engaged and then they're like, to me, the whole, we're just going to wait. I mean, it's probably quite sensible, to check your budget and blah, blah, blah. I'd be out there like first weekend, I'd be checking out venues and wedding shows and buying magazines and stuff. I know. It's really interesting how people are different, and I love that people are different, and there's lots of different ways that people come to things and experience the process. It makes it interesting. But I know I'd be booking that shoot. And then what about on the day? What happens?
So a full wedding day, I would arrive in the morning so that I can capture lots of bridal prep. So I really want to build that excitement of, capture everything of the girls being together, the bride and her mother if she's there, the clinking of champagne glasses, and also the first reveal of the bride in her dress. I want to catch all the details. So I'll try and capture everything. I want to really show all the thought that they've put into their wedding day. I'll also meet the groom and his groomsmen. We usually meet them in the bar. Occasionally they want to do some sort of getting ready shots, putting the ties on, etc. But it's not quite as in-depth as the girls. And then we'll have a timeline based on what time their ceremony is. The earliest ceremony I've ever shot was 11 a.m. So that was a big day. It was an early start.
Yeah, that is it.
But usually I will make sure that I am with the bride first, and then I'll go to the groom, and then I'm back to the bride, because it's really important to me to just capture whoever it is that's walking the bride down the aisle, I want to capture their first look at her in her dress. And then we're into the ceremony. So in between that, there's going to be lots of pictures of her, of the bridal party, you know, just all of the excitement, transport if they're having it, you know, everything that they've got as part of their day. I'll have made sure that we've gone through that thread to needle before the big day, so I know exactly what's important. Ceremony, since during the restrictions, it's been a bit different because you're given one spot and you have to stand rooted or even sit in some circumstances. It has been hard, but it's not impossible. But yeah, under normal circumstances,
your winch camera,
big zoom lens. Under normal circumstances, I'd be moving around as much as I can. You know, obviously, it depends on what type of ceremony they're having. You know, I find that church ceremonies you're able to move around a bit less.
Yeah.
But I always speak to the vicar or the registrar or celebrant just to make sure that we're on the same page in terms of what they're happy with me doing photography wise, and I'll just go with whatever I'm allowed to do. But the bride and groom can expect lots of lovely expressions. You know, if there's any emotion, I'll capture it, and I'll also make sure to capture their you know, friends and family's faces.
Yeah,
they're the ones that are really lovely, aren't they? Looking on.
Yeah, that's
and yeah, they can expect lots of joy, lots of emotion. After the ceremony, they usually go straight for a welcome drink. And I always want to give them a chance to say hello to their guests. So I'll lurk around just capturing lots of candid moments.
In a non-creepy way.
Yeah. Not in a creepy way. Never in a creepy way. No, in a very friendly, personable way.
You're not at all creepy. That's the funny thing. It's just I don't think
it just sounds creepy, doesn't it, when you say I'm loitering?
Yeah, but I don't think the point really needs to be pressed because you're just so not creepy at all. I love that one. It makes me laugh. It made me laugh earlier. I was like, oh, that's funny.
Sometimes people, it's more so the guests, I think, because they're not primed for the photography. It's fairly obvious there's always going to be a photographer at a wedding. Sometimes two and a videographer. But sometimes it's the guests that feel a bit awkward if there's somebody getting in the face with a massive camera, which is what I mean by I'll just keep my distance a little bit, just so they don't feel like they're being intruded on.
Yeah.
I'll then whisk the bride and groom away for their couple portraits. And if we're having them, we'll do group shots straight after that and a confetti throw at that point as well, if that's when it's happening. And some couples say to me, but we want to leave the group shots until after we've had the wedding breakfast. And I say, no, bad idea. No. Because the drunker people get, the less likely we are to get. We'll get some funny group shots, but we're not going to get a group shot where everybody's got their eyes open, nobody's gurning.
No, definitely not. And also they're harder to round up as well when
they're
3 bottles down.
Yeah, we always try and do the couple portraits and the group shots pre-wedding breakfast. But there are some days where the weather isn't great at that particular point. My wedding day was the same. It was raining. It was chucking it down all day. So we did our pictures inside in the venue. But then after the dinner, the photographer came and got us, and we got some beautiful golden hour portraits outside because the rain had stopped.
So it's good just to be flexible, isn't it? And that's
completely,
having your photographer there all day with you. It's a quite a unique situation that happens. Yes, you can be there all day long and sort of read the weather and read the crowd and
and I'll usually just have a quiet word with them to that effect. If it is raining, or if there's some reason that we can't do the couple shots straight away, then I'll usually just say, look, we'll sneak out after the wedding breakfast, because it's fine with the two of them, but definitely not to do the groups.
No, I think it's great as well. I mean, that's part of your job, to take that pressure and make it your own and think, right, we must, get back out there or find an alternative location for the couple shots if we can't, or whatever. And I think that's great that the couple on the day don't have to worry about any of that. They know that, you know, they're in safe hands with you, and they're going to get their shots, but it'll be up to you to kind of sort out how that'll be happening.
Yeah, and I'll have always researched the venue if I've not been there before, to make sure there's alternatives inside in the worst case scenario, or you know, to kind of just look for the best spots. And I'll talk to the wedding coordinator at the venue to that effect as well.
And what about, how long do you stay?
I usually stay until around about an hour after the first dance.
Oh, nice. So you get lots of dance floor fun.
Yeah. I stay just until a point where the balance is starting to tip into rowdiness, and then I sneak away.
Yeah, lots of just as they're starting to crowd surf.
Yeah. I like to make sure there's a full dance floor before I've gone.
Yeah, that's fun. Would you? I mean, it's up to you then to get everyone on the dance floor, throw a few moves.
No.
Or maybe not. But tell you what, by that point, you'll be so tired, because you've been on your feet all day, dashing about, you know, thinking all the time as well. It's a mental load as well, getting the shots, doing your thing. How do you relax after a wedding? You know, when you're in your car going home afterwards, what do you? I've never
I put some music on, and then I will get home and I start downloading my pictures straight away, and I'll have a bath and a glass of wine while they're downloading. But yeah, you're right. I'm buzzing after a wedding. I find it really hard to sleep because I'm so excited, and I just want to get straight on with looking at those pictures.
Because actually, I think that's a bit that people forget. Like, the editing is just as important, really, as the being there on the day, isn't it? Making sure the pictures are safe as well is super important.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Making sure they're backed up and there's no losing those images.
Oh my God,
it's my worst nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know that I could actually take that pressure. It's just but yeah, I mean, you've got your processes in place to make sure that doesn't happen, right?
Yes, I do. I certainly do.
Yeah. And so what about afterwards? What can the couple expect from you?
Yeah, so I like to send them a sneak peek within about 48 hours of their wedding. I think nowadays most people aren't going straight off on the honeymoons the next morning. So they generally receive that. And also, we're also connected, aren't we? It doesn't particularly matter if they are, because if I send it to their smartphones, they're going to receive it wherever they are in the world.
Again, they so should.
Yes, yeah. So
just, you know, from a wedding enthusiast point of view, get on the honeymoon straight away.
Yeah, completely agree. I think we were the Monday morning after getting married on the Saturday. Straight away. So yeah, they can expect a sneak peek where I'll send them a handful of key images from the day. So I want to send them at least one gorgeous couple shot, and a couple from the ceremony, and probably a couple of the family.
Yeah.
And that just gives them something to keep them going, because like you say, it is quite an extensive process, editing them and making sure that everything's perfect. So during a busy wedding season, you know, they're looking at up to a month before they get the pictures. And I remember myself feeling really frustrated and wondering where my pictures were.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously it was normal, but our photographer was great. He hadn't particularly said that. I think he just assumed that we would know that it would be 4 to 6 weeks. You know, I was like, where are my pictures?
Yeah, it's good to kind of set expectations so that everyone knows where they are with things, and then obviously if you deliver sooner, brilliant. But you know,
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I would never make someone wait unnecessarily. If the pictures are ready, then they are going to that couple.
Build the tension.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. No, but I like to give realistic timelines, because when the wedding season is busy, then you know, I need to make sure that I'm not burning myself out.
Yeah, and you've got to keep your standards high as well. I think it's always better that photos are edited beautifully rather than rushed. You know, you don't want to be rushing that process. It needs to be, and you keep them forever. What's a week when you're going to have them forever, really?
Exactly.
What's your favourite part of the day to shoot?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it's the ceremony, you know. It's that I love getting there, you know. I'll walk in just before the bride, and from the minute the groom's faces are always a picture. They're always so nervous, and then you get to see them as their bride walks in, and that first look at each other. And as a photographer, you're one of the only people that get to hear him say, "Oh, you look amazing. Oh, you know, you look so stunning." And it's a real privilege to be kind of that close to them and not part of that experience. And then, yeah, you get, you know, some couples will cry, some will laugh, you know, you just get all of those beautiful expressions, and it's like a front row seat.
Yeah, it's fab, that. It's fab. Yeah. It's funny because I obviously edit a lot of wedding pictures, not in this traditional sense like we were just talking about, but you know, I do the curl and I put them on the blog and I arrange them in a certain way to tell the story of the day. And it's a really hard question, I know, asking what's your favorite part of the day, because it, for me as an editor, it really varies as well. Yeah. I love a confetti shot. I do love a confetti shot.
Yeah, I do love that too. There's not any of it that I don't like.
No. I also enjoy it at a wedding. You know, like if I'm a guest and you do the confetti shot, I also really enjoy that at a wedding. Yes, so maybe it's just my personality. But there's so many good bits, like the bridal prep's great, the ceremony, like you say. Yeah, it's really interesting, I think, to hear from each photographer which bit kind of like they like to shoot. And it's interesting because you're all about the natural emotion. Your style of images is so like that. And by the way, anyone, obviously we're chatting here, but you should go and check out all Hannah's work and see for yourself just how much emotion and kind of natural feelings in those pictures, which we'll share the details at the end of this chat, which we're getting to the end of the chat, actually. A few more questions. Where would you most like to shoot in the world? Anywhere, or a venue?
Oh gosh, do you know, I've been thinking about this. I've been doing a little bit of this dreaming big about where I see the next few years taking me. And I would love to shoot a wedding in Santorini.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's like my dream.
The light is just beautiful there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've never even been. I've only seen pictures of it on the internet.
Yeah.
I think maybe I just want to go, and it would be a really good reason to take a holiday there myself.
Do you know what's interesting about you saying that? So I'm similar, that when I travel, whenever I'm there, I was like, oh, I'd love to do a shoot here, you know, for the magazine or whatever. So it is good for me to combine the two. Otherwise I get kind of itchy feet both ways. Like if I just go for work, then I'm like, oh, I'd love to have a holiday. If I just go for holiday, I'm like, oh, I'd love to get creative here. So it is good to sort of slot the two together if you can, because it kind of, you know, gets rid of those creative vibes, puts them out there and makes something beautiful with it.
Yeah, 100%.
And what's your proudest moment, Hannah, so far?
Oh, I think it was probably shooting that first wedding. You know, people kept saying to me, God, you're brave, aren't you, going to do that when you've got no experience? But I hadn't got experience of shooting weddings, but I'd really put in the groundwork to make sure that I would do a good job on that day. You know, I'd been to visit the venue, I'd done lots of research online, I'd done my pre-wedding shoot with the couple, and I'd prepped myself as much as I possibly could. I'd attended a workshop with another wedding photographer. But yeah, actually completing it and the couple loving their images, you know, that, because that's a really nervous time when you hit send. And then you're waiting for them to come back, and they were just like, wow, absolutely over excelled.
Well, you know what, you probably did go above and beyond for that wedding as well. That's the interesting thing. So it wasn't really risky for that couple because they knew you were a good photographer from your family work, that you built up that portfolio. They knew you were a good person. So it was, you know, it's kind of in your nature. I think it is, from what I know of you, you would kind of go the extra mile, and so it wasn't really a risk, but it's great that you nailed it. Yeah, I was happy with how it went. And you know, I look back at those pictures, I re-edited the whole gallery actually, because my editing style has moved on a little bit since 3 years ago, and I'm still super happy with them, but I'm even more happy now that I've made those tweaks. And I sent them to the bride again. Yeah, I was going to ask that if you sent them on.
Yeah, she was really surprised.
Yeah, she loved that.
Yeah, so, you know, even though I'm saying that I nailed my first wedding, I've definitely come on since then.
But we all do.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's constant.
And standards go up. You know, like for instance, our magazine's always been great. It's always been like a game changer and beautiful, and you know, it's really, we always aim to be like the best. But I know that our latest issue is going to be better than our last issue, and that's better than the issue before and better than the issue before. It's just, it's like a transition in terms of what people expectation. And sometimes at the end of an issue, I think, well, I can't give more than I've given this time. I can't possibly make the next one better. But you do. And it's just the way,
I'm not always learning. Everything I do, I'm learning from it.
Yeah, it's exhausting, isn't it? I think we all, before it all opens up again, we all need to make sure to like have a week of just chilling out away from the computer before it all goes.
Yeah.
So what are your contact details, Hannah? How can couples get in touch with you? If you tell us your website address, we'll drop it here.
Yeah, my website is Hannah Brooke with an E, photography.co.uk. My Facebook and Instagram are both at Hannah Brooke Photo.
Perfect. So I'll share both your web address and your Instagram handle here, and you can also find Hannah on Facebook that way too. And that's it, Hannah. You've been an amazing guest today. Thank you so much. And yeah, everybody go and check out Hannah's beautiful imagery. And I'm sure you will have really resonated with Hannah today, just drop her a line and get a book for your big day.